here to review again the Farmboy versus AndrewAAgamer 2021 champion. Looks like 2022 champion, by the way, of Global 1940. He has been challenged by Farmboy, and I believe this is Farmboy's second shot at this, and he is actually doing extremely well. And yeah, so it's a great review. You're going to be shocked. This is a game that's still ongoing. I'm just going to show you the kind of the end and show you how the map. If you just look on the right side over here, I don't know if I can make that big. I can't make that bigger, but I will show it to you. Just right here, if you just look at the map, it's what's happened is the map has actually been changed. In other words, it's they've adjusted the map. So look at the power base of the Japanese here and here, but then the power base of the Germans here, all the way in the middle of Europe, and then down into the Middle East, even Egypt. And all that has been acceptable. You're going to see a huge American force, Russian force in Korea, and you're going to see a huge force both in Normandy, Bordeaux, as well as Scandinavia, and sort of a buttress here in Africa. And all of that is acceptable. A changing of the map is what I'm sort of trying to emphasize. They've accepted losses in some areas. For instance, over here, if we look at this, I mean, this looks disastrous. $2, $4, $6, $6 more dollars. Bonuses, 2, 4, 6, and of course Egypt. As you know, you're holding Egypt. Look at what he's holding Egypt with. And you know, these forces do not look like they're going to hold up against that, but it's also going to wear them down with more coming. I just want to see planes probably from here as well, but acceptable losses here. While he holds on to both Yunnan and also India. And then check this out. One factory on the coast with, I'm not sure whether the other factories were wiped off or never placed, but then Caroline Islands actually checkmates any sort of building in Japan. If that were not the case, obviously this fleet would go up to, look at that, 12 carriers, 9 subs. It's a lot of hit points and a lot of, but he's not been able to place. I mean, this looks very good for the Allies. And of course, you look at the money, and 214 to 117. So I mean that's and whose turn is it? Russia's turn. So Germany just went high point for Germany of the round, obviously, $59, and Japan at 55, but Russia's at 40. America's at 83. China's at 28, and Britain's at 40. I mean, this is all a very good show. A very good show. Units on the board. So a lot of these units on the board, if we look at this down here, units on the board 540 to 407. It's 137 more units on the board. Now you say to yourself, well, a lot of those units are naval and air. Oh, that very much could be true, especially here where you have so many carriers and fighter planes. But that doesn't account for 140 extra pieces. And so you really do have quite a bit on the Eurasia. And if we look at Europe itself, I mean, this has been minimized down to a small factory. Just some very impressive stuff. Lack of Navy here, so I'm assuming that as we look at this, we're going to find out there was some naval losses. Lack of German Air Force. That means probably that something went down, and probably a recent loss of planes. Yeah, I'm certain there's been a recent loss of planes. So there had to have been a major naval air engagement. All right, well let's try to get to where I was, which I believe is now round 7. And I wanted to show you how to do this. I'm going to go to round 7. Let's open this up. So round 7 looked like the beginning of the dive into the Caucasus and into the Middle East. Let's see if that's accurate. Yep, right there. The door has been opened. The mobiles are ready to go in, and he's going to, I assume, take the plunge. 11. So he's got 11 mechs and 6. This is interesting because at this point in time, he just retook Normandy Bordeaux. He's much more confident. Doesn't have to reinforce the west with infantry, but he's lost Norway. So where's he going to put this stuff? I'm interested to see where he puts this stuff. So is he going to, put the infantry out front so he can flood the zone by, the slow-moving infantry making their way as well as the fast movers? Okay, let's see. Let's scroll. Okay, you're going to take over Archangel so he doesn't get that bonus. And takes over Novgorod, 5 points, by the way. 5 extra IPCs. Okay, so let's look at this. 10 mechs placed in Germany, 3 in West Germany, 3 infantry in Novgorod. So, yep, he did place 3 in Novgorod, but then did not place in Ukraine. All right, so let's keep going. 2 lost to convoy blockades and collects 2 for northwest Persia, I believe. And then 5 for Caucasus. 5 more for Novgorod and Volgograd. $10. $63 altogether collected. So that's a fairly successful, that's a good number. I mean, it's not 70. It would obviously be up by $3 more. He did collect the bonus for the oil, I believe, which is frustrating. No, he did not. Okay, he did not. So he owns Norway. So awesome. So good turn for Andrew. I certainly can't fault him in anything. I'm not a great Axis player myself. This looks like a huge and strong push. I really do think this factor was a mistake here. A strong move of the Air Force into Russia, and so no chance of an Archangel Lend-Lease this turn. Strong moves. Not like, again, maybe it was just maybe Farmboy's thinking is that if you get stuck in the Normandy Bordeaux, it is all consuming, whereas Norway allows you to do things like over here, as well as, so I think the Normandy Bordeaux thing is just, you're just going to have to resupply that all day long as soon as you start that. And it was a nice skipping point, I think, probably is what I would interpret it as. All right, let's go. And he's going to buy some artillery this time. Interesting. I'm going to do that one. A lot of these battles are rather boring if you really examine this. These are not exciting battles. These are battles that these people know they're going to win. So if you're fighting a lot of exciting battles, maybe you're doing the wrong thing. So 8 and 2 artillery. Okay, so probably just using 2 extra bucks, trying to make it even. I would assume. Okay, he's going to grab Rostov and the $2 ones. So notice they're open, by the way. So notice that he's moved on from. This is obviously an interesting move. I mean, a lot of times I would try to threaten this force myself. Is my first thought. Let's see what he does. I would threaten this force by a move to Tambov, because if the tanks separate, then they can't support these troops. But it does. Well, let's see what he does. Okay, so he's going to fight the battle for just trying to maintain an income. Yep, and he gets them. All right. And Belarus is successful. Okay, so he triggered Russians conquered Japanese territory by Mongolia, switching sides to faults. Okay, so let's see what happened there. Brings them back. Okay, so he actually captured Tan Somaliland for. That's funny. Left those units alone, but grabbed it. Oh, there we go. Love that move. Big fan of convoying with the Russian sub. He does move the Tambov. I have a brain. Yes, I have a brain. Very exciting. That's what I would have done. All right, let's check this out. Turn complete. Places the 2 in Russia and the 8. He collects 27, but gets 2 spread of communism bonuses for $6. That's genius. That's good moves right there. So let's check that out. Spread of communism bonus in Iraq and Italian Somaliland. So really, as the Ethiopians, obviously, I mean, the Italians, I think I'd be tempted to try to take these out because, Tobruk and Libya would give, six more dollars. So if, you can beat this down and then aerate it and purify it and cleanse it. All right, let's go with what the Japanese are going to do. Let's go here on the left, open these things up. I don't think there's going to be any exciting battles. But okay, so Japanese bought what? This is if you're not checking what you guys, what the Axis are buying, you're really making a huge mistake here. You got to pay attention. This is one of the most crucial parts of the game is what they're buying. 5 fighters. This is a really interesting. I think actually ultimately Andrew has already given up on China, in my opinion. He has given up on China. Like I think he gave up on China like turn 2. Just knowing that what was coming. So you cannot win Asia with the number of troops he's putting on land. And he realized that what's going to happen here is just this. I mean, probably last turn when Farmboy moved out and went to 54 for 1 round, that was probably it. That was probably the Pacific was won in that move because he was. This is, if we look at the territory here, this 39 units. There's no way the Japanese unit can keep up with that. He's got to be outgunned by. He's got 26. So unless he is going to put every single fighter of his on these boats, he's lost the Pacific. That is done, toast. I mean, what I don't. I mean, obviously I'm tempted to go for 6 and just camp in 6. He is really far out of. You can't get back to 6 right from here. So it seems to me that the move would be to go to 6, but in the non-com phase. But I don't think that's what he's going to do. Let's see what happens. Sorry, guys, to keep going. Not to hear what I have to say, but what these guys are saying with their moves. And he's just going to be a coastal power. And I think at this point in time, he can't even add a lot of factories to the coast. So that's, I would say, let me just say kudos to Andrew for realizing that his time on the mainland is limited. This is kind of a KJF. Yeah, I mean, look at this, very, very good. And we could go back and look at the placement. This is really good. So let's keep going. On the left side here is right side. Okay, he is going to take over Anway, and then again, almost all the battles are going to be wins. Places one fighter and 2 infantry in. So he doesn't even place all 3 infantry on the mainland. You got to see that as that's rough for the Japanese player. 4 fighters on the mainland. Those fighters were for the mainland, not for the carriers. I mean, that's, you got to listen to that. $55, and he gets 5 for the bonus. And you know that is that's gonna end. So this was, I mean, I love the Southeast Asia strategy. For a person who's trying to avoid the Chinese, obviously the Chinese are going to take over everything. There's no doubt about that at this point in time. But and then he uses the Chinese in Burma, very clever. But the Southeast Asia strategy, where he's safe from the Chinese, that's really good. I mean, just he's making the best of what he. But Farmboy is doing a fantastic job here. Okay, so okay, let's keep going with the Americans. Let's see what he did. Oh, let me just look at the players right now. Oh boy. Okay, you got it. You got it. So why did I lock it? I always lock it. Okay, so I just want to take a look at the. She should have her key. She should have her key. Okay, so let me take a look at the players at this point in time. It says 182 to 140. 140 is not a bad number. Let's remember that 140 is not a bad number. Production right now is about 25, 26 more in production for the Allies. That's raw numbers, not bonuses. Units. The units are 70, 60, 40, 41, 61, 66. Hold on. Yeah, I can go in about half an hour. And 500 above. Okay, so let's for total unit value. So the numbers are closer than the board would have it. I love it. Someday as a breakdown of the actual infantry, artillery, tank. If you ever want to read a book like that, Victor Davis Hansen's book, Second World War, is extremely good at doing that on a regular basis throughout the war. How many each of the nations had. Okay, let's go back over the history. This could be a little longer. Sorry, I'm kind of excited about this. So he's placing, the Americans themselves are placing 6 units. And of course, they're headed for boats onto Eurasia. So, and then he's putting 3, 5, 6 units into the water and air, which basically is non. So I just want to take a look at what the Germans placed. So I want to keep track. This is one of the things I try to do. The purchase for the Germans was 17 units. The purchase for the Russians were 10 units. So 17 and 6. I'm sorry, 10 and 6 is 16 units between the Americans and the Russians. So you have equal numbers, and then the Chinese are going to blow the Japanese away, but even the British are going to blow the Japanese away. What are the British making right now? the British West Indies, they're making 2. So almost the UK Pacific equals the Japanese land investments, Eurasian investments, and the Chinese blew them away. So as far as Eurasia goes, this game is going extremely favorably toward the Allies. All right, let's see what happens here. Sorry. Okay. A bombing raid. Nice. I love asymmetrical warfare. Grabs Finland. It's going to go back and forth, obviously. Wow, nice bombing raid, actually. That's nice.
That is a stupid idea.
That's my son in there. Rolls a 6. Has a 6. Seven and 6 is 13. Okay, let's keep going. That was all. Okay, so you'll notice that there is at times very little combat. Let's see where all the. Okay, so we have a heavy navy in 112. And 92, 91, there's waypoints, but not strongly held. Oh, movements. Moved. Not sure why others are going there. 3 infantry in Norway. And then East Coast. Fighter in East Coast. 2. Okay, so okay. So the Pacific did get 5 units. The Atlantic got 1. And it goes to 72, 77. All right, let's go to the Chinese. I'm going to go past the Chinese. Let me just take a look at what they did. Anything in the combat? Nope, nothing big. Let's go with non-coms. Let's not be lazy. Okay, here we go. Purchase. So again, that's 4 units. Takes over Guangxi, Shahar. That's it. And then everything goes back to Yunnan.
Yes.
This is interesting. He's got a nice reserve there. I love reserves. And of course, this is an interesting pinch. Because if he goes here and attacks Burma, this is mutually supporting. In fact, there's support from 3 different angles. If he goes after Yunnan, he's going to be crunched by the Szechuan Burma forces. If he goes after Burma, he's going to be crushed by the India Yunnan forces. And if he goes after, well, that's all he can do. So really, and these 18 British put pressure on this factory. He's got to maintain this factory, or he'll lose it. And he's got now 2 artillery in there. So this Yunnan is a great position and kind of militates against the Southeast Asian campaign. As much as this is safe from the Chinese are guarding the British as they protect as they project force over both Shan State and French Indochina. So that's quite a move. Quite a move. All right, so here we go. And
Dad just said he's gonna go in a half an hour.
little.
No thanks.
10 minutes, Abby. I can finish in 10 minutes. Okay, the hurry's on, guys. So, let's see what I can do here. Okay, I'm going to open up everything and go fast. Oh, I have thought about a way of picturing this battle in the Pacific between Carolina and Philippines. I thought of this morning, almost as soon as I woke up and got out of bed, this is trench warfare. This thing right here. Trench warfare. It's not like that on the Eastern Front, actually. The Eastern Front is actually push and shove, but the Philippines versus the Carolines seems like trench warfare. All right, let's go back to the British turn. We got to go fast. Okay, the British are going to buy 6 and 3, so that is and 1, 10 units going on to Eurasia, and 2 units going on in the Pacific, UK Pacific. What are they going to do? Okay, he is ready. He's ready to take out Libya. Ethiopia, I mean. So get that $5 bonus. And the quick $3 for 3. He loses 3 and gains 3. And yeah, he's going to take that easily. And Okay, so I mean, he's got the sword of Damocles hanging over his head in northwest Persia. So I do wonder what those Russians are going to do. Well, they moved the Tambov, so maybe he is dependent upon the armor and mech not to thrust southward, so that his forces in Volgograd don't get wiped out. But he's supporting Szechuan from the rear, supporting Russia, dropping all the forces into 110. Why not? Massive support for Moscow with planes. I gotta say, I'm getting a little lost here as the grand strategy. So 3 go into Persia. 2 and 1 go into Egypt. 3 mechs in unit South Africa. That's really good. And he gets $40. And 2 into India. The forum's working too. Okay, so I just want to take a look at this because I'm not, with my hurry, I'm not seeing the sort of genius of it. So he did pull out of Yunnan to stack in Burma, which I just said was brilliant, to be in Yunnan. Maybe he's ready to move on Shan State next turn. Those planes and the mechs. He must have saw some danger that I don't see here. Because I thought Yunnan was brilliant. I don't see anything close to being able to defeat 19 units without suffering huge losses. I mean, perhaps he's looking at India and going, okay, I'm going to lose India and then retake India because I can't hold India. That's got to be it, because the Chinese troops can't go into Burma, can't go into India. So that's got to be it. He's going to both threaten Shan State, move him out of Shan State, and he's also going to make sure that, okay, so if you do move into India, it's going to be a Pyrrhic victory. That's got to be it. Okay, so then, okay, he also must be also worried about the armored thrust south, and thinking, okay, if he gets into Persia, then he's into West India. Let's get those boys back home. All right, so he did take over, and now I believe gets the $5 bonus. That's why he got so much money. That's really good. And honestly, I kind of would have left it myself, only because it's got these troops out of position. Whereas you wish they were in Egypt, you wish they were in East Persia, you wish they were somewhere else. All right, let's keep going. 3 infantry for defense. Yep, and that makes sense. And 1 destroyer. Interesting. Let's see where this goes. Has to take that out. Oh, he's gonna capture Iraq, and the point there being that the Russians would lose that extra income, and they would gain, of course, their not $2 but $4. Okay, so he places 3 in southern Italy and drops 1. Oh, so he's trying to get rid of those convoying subs. Gotcha. And feels like he's got a shot at it. All right. Okay, and $4 was lost to blockades, and he gets $17. Still a good income. Oh, and he gets times 4 control Iraq, Persia, Northwest.
Also,
Times national objective for an additional 2. So, okay, so $2. So 19 is still a great number. That would have been 23 if the convoying subs weren't there. And what happens? He brings and he captures Palau, and he captures Celebes. Okay, so Money Island bonus goes away unless he retakes it, and he does not move to Sea Zone 6 because he said in his text to me that from Caroline he controls Sea Zone 6, so I think he thinks he doesn't have to be there in order to control it. Now I'm assuming here, guys, that there is a careful numbering. This looks like such a hodgepodge that it looks like he's just buying destroyers and destroyer carrier. Carriers and subs and fighters in order to just populate, kind of helter skelter. But I'm sure that there's and that's what look at that, two subs, carrier, carrier, 2 subs. So note that a carrier, 2 subs is sort of the magic when you have the requisite destroyers. So take a look at the Japanese subs. 8 Japanese subs on the board. He's got 3 American destroyers and 1 Anzac. Okay, and we're almost ready to go. So let me just finish up here. So what I'm trying to say is that Caroline Islands is probably a lot more. Let me just look over here. 43 units, 29 units, but 29 units with 12 off of an airbase. This is deceptive. 1, 2, 3, 4. So these units can not only hit India, they can also hit Caroline, the sea zone around Caroline. These cannot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. So just be aware that this 29 is boosted by these 14. All right. So and then finishing it up, let me look at. Love the sub purchase. What are the French going to do? French are going to move into Moscow and Egypt and Libya. All right, that's correct. 36. Oh, and no, yep, 2 in Norway. That's correct. 36. We're reviewing turn 7 of this very excellent game between Farmboy and AndrewAAgamer. I do have a prejudice against the Axis. I want the Allies to win. This is Allies headquarters, where we fix and flavor the game. And this is Crock It Out with a long and rambling review.